And there you have it. It didn't freeze again. It's Friday. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the beer stream. And hope you've had a fantastic week. Anyway, it's not called the beer stream for no reason. Cheers, everyone. Somebody always asks, and they probably will this week, Carlsberg export once again. Yes, indeed. So I've actually got some notes on stuff I need to do, get through on the stream tonight. We'll see how much of that I get through, but, subject to distractions and so on. I've actually got a guitar that I'm going to be unveiling for you on the stream. There's a bit of a story behind that one, and we will go into that. And yes, and all the usual stuff. Viewers' guitars, or readers' wives, as you people call it. And, a viewer's tale of an entertaining nature, and I'll be telling you what's coming up on the channel this week. But before we get into any of that, let's scroll right up to the top of the chat and see who's teacher's pet, who was first in. It was Dave Fiendish this week. Then we got Rent to Kill, Terry Day, Peter Nicholson, Boulder64, Anton Theme Tunes, David James, Mark Kerno, Johnny Random, there's Grandpa Joe. A miserable day in New York City, so I will sit back and have my 10 a.m. caffeine dose and wait for an enjoyable stream. Join John's Patreon. I'm positive you will like it. Well, thank you for the plug, Joe. Much appreciated, mate. But join the Patreon anyway. It's, you'll have a lot of fun. I promise you. Anyway, then we got Rubbish Guitar Bloke, Craig Stamen, Peter Collins, Stephen Hedger, and who else? We got Dr. Gomez, Mickey Walnuts, John Ross, Malcolm Thompson, Silent Hybrid, Nathan Frank Bolam, Marcel Konings, and Barry McGee. Who else have we got? We've got Malcolm Spillett and Edwin Toonan and Paul Trainer, BSc. Michael Purcell is in, so is John Mack. And yes, a lot of people in the chat talking about the Fender Standard Series guitars that I actually, for the Tier 2 Patreon gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever, you're all welcome to turn up. I do a blog post every Friday, and today's blog post was on the topic of these new Fender Standard Series guitars. And I'll kind of give you a summary of what my opinions are as we go through the stream, no doubt. It's one of the things that I've got written on my list of stuff to blether on about. Who else we got? We got Peter S. We got Johnny D. We've got 60s Man and Austin Barrett. They're searching for tone. Go and check out his channel if you haven't already done so. Oh, excuse me. Yes, some good content on Searching for Tone's channel, and he's worth checking out. And then we got Andy Holmes, we got Rudiger Ehrlich, Grumpy Horse, the Essex Cat, Colin Falcon, Robin Fawcett, and Calby and the Rocco Cat. Who else we got? We got Doc Alders and Pablo Hank, and there's session guitar legend Gary Shaw bringing up the rear. Thomas Mulvaney is in, who's saying he's really enjoying really enjoying my videos on creating your next album. It's a lot of fun to put together, and just the thing of having to have a new tune done every week does sort of focus the mind a little bit. Previously, when I've done stuff like this, I would spend weeks just doing one tune, and I'd say to the missus, I'm just going to go upstairs and have a fiddle with me tune, and and then spend a couple of hours on it, and then go back the next day and redo it and stuff. But this is really focusing the mind in a good way, I think. We got John Channing and Strumming Ronin and the Gissy 77. Calby and the Rocco Cat is asking what happened to that Fender Ultra Strat project. Yeah, I parked that, but I am going to be relaunching it. The reason I parked it was because I realised that my timing was pretty poor, really. Basically, the Strat Ultra project is I've got a fundraiser. It's all set up and going. And basically what I want to do is raise some funds, get a Fender Ultra Series Strat, and then do one of my blind test videos between it and the Squire classic vibe you can see on the back wall there, to see if in the final analysis there really is any difference, that much difference between, a 300 quid guitar and a £2,000 guitar. Once I've finished with the guitar, it will be getting donated to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, because I've got some guitars going to them anyway shortly, and it'll be nice to give them that, and they'll just either use it as a raffle prize or, I suspect, auction it themselves on eBay to raise some funds. So I parked that. The reason was because I didn't want to tread on the toes of the Agrajag Corvus guitar raffle that happened just before Christmas, and it was just in the run-up to Christmas, when I'm thinking, it's probably not a good time to be asking people to put their hands in the pocket for a fundraising kind of thing. But I'm planning on kickstarting that again within the coming weeks, so keep your eyes peeled about that one. Anyway, back to the chat. We've got Peter Hall, Cal Texper, Ken McGurr, and Steve Sproson, and there's Paul Trainer. Regular as clockwork. You always chuck a couple of quid in the beer fund. Thank you very much, mate. It is more than appreciated, I can tell you. And there's Brad Dowell. Anders is in, so is Mickey Walnuts and Triple Distilled. Pablo Hank is there, so is Mott the Hoople and Mr. Chris. Dave Snack Stevens, long time no see, mate. I'm not seeing you in a bit. And give me a shout when you want to restart the lessons as well. We got Guitar Bass Dude, Boulder 64. I've already said you, haven't I? But I hadn't said Guitar Bass Dude, so I just have. There's Bill Mumbo and Ollie M. And Ian Clark, I'm Not Creative, is in. And so is, let's scroll down, Steve Cassidy. Don't forget Steve's video straight after this live stream. It's another one of his Chinese guitar videos, not guitars from China, but guitars in China, from his recent visit to foreign parts. He's got another one of those coming out, 6 o'clock UK time tonight. Go and watch that. I'll have to watch it on catch up, mate, or later, because straight after the live stream I'm going to be elbow deep in curry, not literally, but you know what I mean. Who else have we got? We've got Chris Otterwell and Graham Campbell, and there's Andreas Lundell and Graham XX, or strictly speaking, Graham _XXX, I mean. Who's just secured a second-hand Jet JT 350 like yours in Sunburst from Gear for Music. You're going to love it, mate. Might need a little bit of fettling. Budget guitars always do, I tend to find. But I know a really good place that can do it. Maybe install some stainless steel frets for you. That's the famous Agrajag workshop. Who else have we got? I think that might be everyone. Everyone new anyway. Oh, Edwin Toonan, there he is. Yes, Edwin Toonan mentioned that John Sykes passed away. What a guitarist, especially in his Thin Lizzy period. Yeah, that final album with Thin Lizzy, the one that he did. Well, he did two technically, and one of them was a live album. The Thunder and Lightning album was, I think, a bit of a return to form for Thin Lizzy. Not that they'd gone off the boil or anything, but it was Thin Lizzy kind of becoming more of an 80s band than a 70s band, and there was a noticeable shift in the sound of the band, a little bit heavier on that album, and the Live Life album that was like the live album from that tour. Live and Dangerous is a great album, but I think that Live Life album is worth a listen as well. And very sad news that John Sykes passed away. An album that I've been trying to get my hands on for a while, actually, because everybody that's heard it really recommends it, but I haven't been able to get it. It's not on Spotify, and I haven't been able to find anywhere else that I can stream it or download it. Is the Blue Murder album he did, which everyone just absolutely praises to the heavens, and I've yet to hear it. I've somehow that one didn't crop up on my radar until it was too late. Who else we got? Anton is saying the MXR Rockman pedal, loads of reviews on it, must cost MXR a fortune in paid advertising for free pedals. I have a video on the Rockman sound coming up I haven't even started work on it yet, but I do like a schedule of all my videos for the coming month or so. And there is going to be a video on can we get the Rockman sound without actually having a Rockman. So watch out for that one. Let's have a look. Yeah, a lot of people still, as I say, talking about the Fender Standard Series guitars. I do have some opinions on those. As I said, we got Jerry White in, and there's Stevie Mac as well. Anyone else? I think that's everyone. There's Padraig Floyd, Sam's Budget Guitars, and Eva Dunstan, and anyone else. I don't want to miss anybody out, but I don't want to take all day doing the roll call either. Right, that's that little bit of housekeeping out the way. Let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. Sunday's video is going to be another video featuring the Epiphone Nighthawk that you saw last week. Essentially, it's a guitar which kind of straddles the Strat and Les Paul kind of spectrum, if you like. Excuse me, I'm just going to dim this camera down a little bit. The kind of baldness of my head, that's a little bit more civilized. Yeah, just the glare off me bald head. Yeah, the Nighthawk is a guitar which, as I say, it's Strat meets Les Paul. Well, another guitar which is very much Strat meets Les Paul is this, the PRS SECE 24. Bolt on neck. No, it doesn't have the middle pickup, but you can, with a kind of clever coil tapping, splitting, whatever you want to call it, switching on this, you get a very, very convincing Strat sound, and it also does the throaty Les Paul humbucker thing very well. So essentially, Sunday's video is going to be me deciding whether there's enough kind of clear blue water between the PRS and the Epiphone to whether I need to keep the Epiphone or not. And if I don't, then that is a guitar that will, as I say, be going to Zoe's place as well. So that's Sunday's video. Monday, a band that I didn't really take a lot of notice of in the early 90s. I just had them written off as yet another one of this slew of seemingly never-ending Seattle grunge merchants that were around at the time. You know, like one band gets signed, they have a load of they kind of capture the zeitgeist and have a load of hits, and then lots of other bands that sound very similar to them also get signed, and I just had Pearl Jam written off as being sort of just being caught up in that wave of Nirvana mania that was around in the early 90s. And well, I finally had my ears opened, and I realised that, yeah, they're a great band. Why did it take me 30 years to figure that out? So we're taking a look at a Pearl Jam solo on Monday. Then Tuesday, as always, a top 5 video. And when you think about instruments in a rock band lineup, you think obviously bass, drums, guitar, keyboards, saxophone, and then, you know, what else? Well, what else indeed? On Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about my favourite rock solos played on non-conventional rock instruments. Classic, iconic rock songs that have a solo in them that isn't played on a guitar or a bass or a drum solo or a keyboard solo or a sax solo or a harmonica, for that matter, because you can kind of include that as well. So that's what's going to be on Tuesday. Place your bets now for songs that you think are going to be on that list. Then on Wednesday, the completion of the video that you saw yesterday about the track Gravy Bone, which gets a little bit remixed because I when I listened to the mix back yesterday, or this morning actually, I did notice that, dear me, that bass is too loud. So it's all been fettled a little bit, and hopefully that's fixed. And it now sports a melody. And as I think I mentioned in the video yesterday, the melody does include using one of these things. So I've had to kind of dust off my slide playing skills a little bit for that one. Then on Thursday, just some kind of, the Thursday videos tend to be the ones where I just want to get something off my chest, or talk about something that's been on my mind, or just it's not one of the usual kind of categories of videos that I do. Well, that's very much this Thursday's video, where I'm talking about AMP simulations. The pros and cons of AMP simulations, the good points and the bad points, and what I miss about the days when I used to pretty much use them exclusively. A period of a good couple of years where I was using nothing but Guitar Rig and Bias Amp, amongst other things. And then I went and got that Marshall, and then after the Marshall, I'm on the Blue Guitar Amp now, as I might have mentioned in the odd video. So yeah, just some reflections on using amp sims. What are the good points and what are the bad points? And that is what's coming up on the channel this week. And after all of that blethering, I just need to relubricate. Right. Let's have a little bit of a look at what's in that chat, shall we? Violin, flute, sitar, all good choices. To be honest with you, I do these videos about a month in advance, so when I'm sat here on a Friday night blethering away about what's coming up on the in the following week's video, it's like well, I did that a month ago. What was I talking about? What did I say? So you'll just have to watch it. I can tell you that bagpipes make an appearance, and that's all the spoilers you're going to get from me. Gary Shaw saying, I had a Rockman when they first came out. I hated it. Sold it rather quickly. It is a bit of a one-trick pony, isn't it? It's that sort of Boston guitar sound. And I've been listening to, actually, I always have that Boston. I don't think I go a month without listening to the entirety of the first Boston album, because it's just a masterpiece. It's just perfect in every way, I think. But a Rockman wasn't used on that. That was old school kind of Marshall stacks, cranked and power soaks and or attenuators, as we call them now. And it was that sound that Tom Scholz wanted to get into a smaller, kind of format that didn't have to, kind of have the footprint of that huge rig that he was probably using in the first Boston album. And then I've been listening to not the second album, because I don't really rate the second album. A couple of good tracks on it, but it doesn't hang together as well as the first album, I thought. But the third album, Third Stage, is all Rockman. And I do think there is a noticeable difference in the guitar tone from that first album to the Third Stage album. It's not better or worse, it's just different. But that sort of became the blueprint for the Boston guitar sound, didn't it? And as I say, basically the way my mind's been thinking is, okay, it's a highly saturated Marshall tone. Okay, I can do that. It's got a very, very strong EQ for about 1K in the mid-range, and it's got kind of quite a noticeable chorus on it, and it's compressed to the back end of the moon and back. Well, I've got access to Marshall tones, I've got access to the EQ, I've got access to compression, and I've got access to chorus. So can I kind of do the Rockman tone just with what I've got laying around here? And if I can, then maybe you can. And if you're thinking about maybe getting one of those Rockman pedals from MXR, do you really need it? Because it is a damnable expensive amount of money, 250 quid when I looked up the price, to spend on something that gives you essentially one guitar sound. So yes, that is something I'm going to be looking into. I might fall flat on my face and fail, but I'm going to give it a go. What else have I missing? Oh, there's Dave Lewis. Nice to see you, mate. Gary Arnold saying Blue Murder by John Sykes isn't on Amazon Music either. Yes, I know, that's one of the first places I looked when I realised it wasn't on Spotify. Da, 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 oh, we got Darren Myers in as well. Nice to see you, mate. Johnny Random got the Blue Murder LP the week it came out. Yes, as I say, I just missed out on all that sort of stuff because I had my head down, kind of studying really. And well, it's, you know, late 70s and 80s especially. I had my head. I'd sort of take my eye off the ball when it came to rock music. I was going down a bit of a blues rabbit hole there, blues coma, you could say. Anyway, Steve Cassidy, yes. I don't wish to kind of embarrass you, mate, but I did notice a blooper in your live stream when I was watching it this morning with my breakfast, as I usually do on a Friday. I'd love to join in live, but I'm always working on a Thursday when you go live. Yes, I'm afraid I noticed a blooper, mate. You were doing your chord of the week, which is an excellent series of videos, by the way. And I think I know where you're going with the final one in that loop. I think I know kind of the direction you're headed in. And the F sharp minor 11th chord, you described the open E string as being the 9th of an F sharp. And all I would say about that is, are you sure about that, sir? And we'll leave it at that. Eric Luttinger, thank you very much, sir. That is massively generous of you. Lovely super chat there. I don't solicit these, but I'm always grateful for you chaps who want to chip in and buy me a beer. It's much appreciated. Anyway, what you're saying there, Eric? I'm 57 years old and tech challenged. I just purchased Reaper for recording. How bad of a time am I going to have learning how to use it? I'll tell you what, Eric, I did a YouTube video on how I use Reaper, and unfortunately it sort of got a little bit copyright blocked because of a drum loop that appeared in that video. So you could go and search it out on YouTube for some instructions, but if you ping me your email address, just email me jrguitartuition@gmail.com. I will send you a download link for the full unexpurgated video of how I use Reaper, what sort of stuff you need, where things are in various menus and all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully that will be some help with you. You know, I mean, I make a living on, you know, using computers, PCs, whatever you want to call them. And I know I'm like the trained monkey who knows exactly what to do in what sequence, but doesn't fully always understand why. So if I can, you know, I don't class myself as being, you know, an IT wizard by any stretch of the imagination. As I say, you know, you can train a monkey to do the certain tasks in a certain sequence, and that's kind of how I feel when I'm doing it. So if I can do it, mate, so can you. And I will send you the download link for the how I use Reaper video, and hopefully that will be of some use to you. What else we got? Oh, there's Steve. Whoops. Flat 7, we'll correct that. 'Twas a long day, came straight home from parents' night, and I just don't know. Oh, you do know your theory, mate. You've got certificates you can hang on your wall that make it official. It's more than I've bloody well got. So, anyway, I'm just going to finish this flagon of ale. Pour another one. And I just want to say a massive thank you as well to everyone who's responded to my shout out for some pictures of guitars. The stock was running dangerously low, it had to be said. And if... Oh, look at that, a perfect pour. Absolutely perfect head on that, no flake in sight. Prove otherwise. Yeah, if the stock levels had been where they were this time last week, we wouldn't have been able to do a viewer's guitar section this week, and you responded in your droves. So I think that needs to be where we head off now to go and take a look excuse me, at some pictures of viewers' guitars. So I'm just going to fire up this one. There it is. And then, oh, that's very 80s. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And I need to share my screen. And there we go. There it is. I told you it was very 80s, didn't I? This is Adrian Law's Kramer Baretta. That was seen as that was what guitars looked like in 1986 and 87. Don't need no neck pickup, don't need no tone control, don't need no clean channel neither, probably, with a guitar like that. It is evocative of its time, isn't it? And what else have we got? Oh, and talking about something evocative of its time, Adrian Laws again with his Ibanez Pro line, very much like a Randy Rhoads style guitar, that, isn't it? I mean, if I was just to do that and say, what guitar is that? You'd probably say it was a Jackson Randy Rhoads, wouldn't you? Because of the sort of offset V. Mind you, the Randy Rhoads original one didn't have a trem, did it? Or certainly not a Floyd Rose, but it certainly captures that. Even like the sort of snowdrifty kind of inlays, which were a kind of a Jackson thing. Again, very evocative of its time. And I'm picking up a certain theme here with Adrian's guitars. Has anyone else noticed? Yes. Yes. Adrian, have you still got a mullet, mate? It's you need one to play all three of those guitars, I suspect. But yeah, again, just that was. I mean, to be honest with you, if you can get along with the Floyd Rose trem, which I have something of a not even a love-hate relationship with, more of a hate-hate relationship with Floyd Rose trems, but plenty of people like them, and if you can get on with that kind of bridge setup, then that's a versatile guitar. You can do the kind of Stratty single coil thing with it. I bet it's got some kind of coil tap split, single coil switching, whatever, on that humbucker. That would be the kind of guitar that you could turn up and do a country gig with. You might scare the horses a little bit, but you'd get by. Anyway, rather special guitar. This is going to be like a before and after. This one is an Ibanez Destroyer, which belongs, as you can see at the top of the screen there, to Andrew Payton. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And this is his current restoration project. And I'm going to save this picture. And once we've got the after, he's going to send me a picture of that, and we can compare, the before and after, and just see what a good job he's made of it. I'm guessing this is one of the ones that came after the lawsuit from Gibson, because it's got that little step there, so it's not just basically an Explorer knockoff. I saw Pete Thorne with the Classic Rock Show, ages ago, a couple of years ago now, has to be, and he was playing one of the pre-lawsuit guitars. I was in about the second row back, and he was, he was kind of right there at the front of the stage, bigging it up on the Freebird solo with his pre-lawsuit Ibanez Destroyer. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Definitely looking forward to seeing how that one turns out, mate. And what we got here, another Flying V from Andrew Payton. This is his 2008 Tokai V. Yes. I'm guessing, Andrew, you don't tend to trouble the clean channel that much on your amp. I'm getting a very strong KK Downing vibe from that guitar, and it's again very evocative of its age. I don't think I've ever owned a V. I've played a few that I've had on loan and stuff, but never quite got on with the kind of seated playing of a V. Where you got to kind of wedge it in between your knees. It's never seemed particularly practical to me. But each to their own. And what we got next? This is a Jet JS400 belonging to Bill Forwell. Yes, indeed. Yes. Now, I mean, how much do these cost? A couple £100, maybe a shade more than that. I don't know. But, for that sort of money, you're getting a bone nut and a roasted maple neck and all kinds of lovely goodness. Locking tuners, I believe, don't they have? Or maybe I'm wrong on that. But, certainly a very, very highly spec'd guitar for the price. It's a shame not all manufacturers of Strat-style guitars offer such good value, isn't it? And that's a topic I'm going to be returning to right after this. And look at the state of this. This is Chris Plumridge's, and I can't see what it is from here, unfortunately. But this is, well, you can see what it is. It's basically a HSS Shark style guitar. And he did, see if I can get the title up here. I don't know how to kind of expand that at the top there, but I'll have a look after I've finished this slideshow and tell you what it is. When Chris sent me this email with his picture, I said, I bet that's a beast to play, isn't it? It's like, how can that be comfortable? And he says it's actually massively comfortable, and the tuning stability is pretty good as well. Which, look at the splay on those strings. There's a surprise, but it's certainly eye-catching. You go and see a band and the guitar player is playing a guitar that looks like that, you're going to remember that band, aren't you? It's got the wow factor. Let's give it that. And Len McIver's 1995 US Standard, Fender US Standard Strat. Loving that sort of brass paisley scratch plate there, mate. That looks rather good, is it? What pickups have we got in there? Are they? You did mention in your email, but I can't remember what you said. Certainly don't look like stock Fender pickups. But yeah, nice looking guitar, classy. And then from Mr. Chris, we've got his Harley Benton 12 string. If you don't know by now, you will by seeing this, that Mr. Chris is a southpaw. He's a lefty. So all of his guitars are the wrong way around. And his mandolin there, Van Gogh mandolin, which looks like he's already kind of got that set up for a lefty. I've never played a mandolin. I suspect my chubby fat fingers would be, kind of not much use on there. And some more stuff from Mr. Chris, just various gear, his Shure microphone that we can see there, Harley Benton HB35 Plus, lovely guitars them. Laney battery amp down there, Fender Champion, and a Technics keyboard. Quite the one-man band, aren't you, Mr. Chris? So there you go. That is this week's selection of Readers' Wives, Viewers' Guitars, call them what you will. Now, before we get into Viewers' Tales, I just want to give you my two penneth on these Fender Standard Series guitars. I think that Fender have shot themselves in the foot massively with this range of guitars. When I first saw the spec for these, before I'd seen the price, I thought, I wonder how much Fender are going to be asking for this £300 guitar. And turns out they're asking £500 for it. Oh, Edwin Toonan, you are a gentleman, sir. Thank you so much. I will always enjoy the beer, as you can tell. It takes a lot of work to get a body like this. I think Fender have massively shot themselves in the foot. You can, especially when you consider that these Fender Standard Series guitars are built in the Court factory, presumably on either the same or an adjacent production line to where the Squier Classic Vibes are being made. And what they've done is they've said, right, okay, the Squier Classic Vibe, that goes out for about £350, £349. I think I paid a little bit less for mine. I think it was £339, something like that. But 300 plus change. Right, okay. Let's build a guitar that's going to cost roughly £150 more, and we'll put downgraded pickups in it, and we'll give it gritty frets, and we'll give it a poorly cut nut, and but we can, it doesn't matter because we can put the upcharge on just because it says Fender on the headstock. This is exactly the kind of thing that in the late 70s and early 80s, where Fender were just stretching that brand loyalty to its breaking point. It's exactly the kind of thing that drove people to go out and buy Tokai Springy Sounds and Ibanez Roadsters and all of the sort of lawsuit copy guitars that sort of basically gave Fender a massive kicking in the late 70s and early 80s. Fortunately, Fender saw sense and kickstarted the Squier range for, affordable, good quality guitars. Then there was the management buyout at Fender, and you got the kind of American Standard and Strat Plus and Strat Plus Deluxe. And Fender were making good guitars again, and they turned it around. And I just think that they've got to the point now where they are too complacent, and they think, yeah, we'll just stick the Fender logo on it and we can sell any old crap. What's the most we think we can get away with charging for this? And then, yeah, right, okay, we'll round that up a bit and put it out there. I've seen so many bad reviews of these guitars, as I say, talking about badly cut nuts and poorly cut and poorly done fretwork and stuff. Go and watch Phil McKnight's video. He basically says that, it feels like a Squier. And, well, it should have been branded as like a Squier Premium or something. But even then, get rid of those muddy sounding ceramic pickups. I know some people like them. Phil McKnight, he's been on record as saying that he used to like those ceramic Fender pickups, but I don't, and most of the people I speak to don't either. So there you go. That's my two penneth on the standard series Strat guitars and Fenders rather. I think Fender have dropped a massive ball there. It has to be said. Steve Cassidy, what are you saying there, mate? Poorly cut nuts is Fender's thing these days. Since lockdown, quality has tanked. Yes, in my experience. Yeah. Mind you, it used to be Fret Sprout that was Fender's thing that they used to do really well, wasn't it? I don't think I've ever publicly said this before because, that Nashville Telecaster on the back wall there, it's a beautiful gesture, a beautiful gift from a good friend of mine in the States, a chap called Joe, who just bought me that guitar. I've told the story many times. I won't bore you with it again, but it was a gift. And because I didn't want to sound ungrateful, and I'm not, I genuinely love that guitar. And every time I pick it up, I think I should play this more. But when that arrived, it had fret ends like a cheese grater. And it wasn't due to, kind of the wood shrinking or anything like that. It wasn't down to just, environmental conditions. When you looked at it with a magnifying glass, you could see that, the fret ends had received no attention whatsoever. It just snip, 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 snip along the side of the neck with a pair of side cutters, box it up, send it out. And, and if there are people working in Fender's factories that have that attitude, then, we've seen where this leads before, haven't we? Let's have a little bit of look, see what else I've missed, and then we'll get on to this week's Viewer's Tale. Michael Purcell is saying, R.I.P. Marian Faithfull. I hadn't heard that one, mate. I didn't know she'd left us. Yes. Oh, that's sad, isn't it? She was always, I remember seeing Marianne on various talk shows like Parkinson and Russell Hartley and stuff when I was a kid. And she always seemed a bit of a hoot, a bit of a, a good person to have a beer or three with maybe, or maybe she'd been on the Prosecco. I don't know, but she always seemed like she was, good company, shall we say. Graham Campbell saying, they aren't that impressive in the flesh either. Saw one today. It'll be interesting to see where Fender go with this. Will they discount these standard series guitars? Will they up the quality, bring out the standard 2 series with, proper Alnico pickups and so on? Or will they be rebranded as Squires, or will they just be quietly dropped like they did with the Fender Light Ash Strats and Tellys years and years ago? Again, that's something where the right hand wasn't telling the left hand what it was doing. And, you could pay, I think it was about 100 quid less for a Light Ash Strat or a Light Ash Telly than you'd pay for the equivalent of the made in Mexico standard one, and you were getting a bird's eye maple neck, and you were getting Seymour Duncan pickups, and it was just like, and 22 frets and abalone inlays, as I recall I had on mine, and it was just, you haven't thought this one through, Fender, and they just sort of quietly got rid of they were made in Korea, I think, the Light Ash series of guitars, and they were great. If you ever get the chance to try one, or you see one on eBay for a good price, then snap it up. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. Gary, we're talking about Marianne Faithfull here, and yes, there's a famous anecdote about Marianne and a Mars bar, and we're not going to go there because I don't want to get this stream demonetized. Let's leave it at that. Anyway, shall we have a little bit of a look at this week's viewer's tale? I just need to navigate to the right folder. I don't put this up on screen, so I don't need to worry about this. So I'll just read this one out for you. This is from Austin Barrett. And he says, "Hi, John. Some years ago, Scott Gorham asked me and a pal to get his gear out of storage and set it up in a studio in Covent Garden. I think it was his solo album. Scott wasn't there, so we set up and was just haggling about when the bass player turns up, and it was Duran Duran's John Taylor. Anyway, he asked us what we were up to, and we said going down the pub. So he says, 'I'll come with you.' Okay, we said. After a couple of drinks, we left him in the pub, and he was well in love with himself. Kept looking around to see who was looking at him. Some years later, I was painting and decorating in the Holiday Inn, Birmingham. One day we could hear screaming outside, and when we looked in the car park, it was full of young girls and Duran standing on a balcony. I said, 'I know him.' 'BS,' the lads said. Well, that night in the bar, he walked in and saw me and walked over and said, 'Hi, what are you doing here?' Must have thought I was with the band. 'Painting,' I said. And this is true. He asked, oils or watercolours. I said, no, hotel rooms. He just turned and walked off. Well, I got to say to the lads that I told you I knew him. So there you go. Yes. I must admit, that anecdote about that gentleman does not surprise me in any way whatsoever. It's I was never a Duran Duran fan, it has to be said, but plenty of people were, and whatever floats your boat. But yes, that preening peacock-like anecdote there does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. So. I think, I've got a guitar to show you, haven't I? Yes. Let's get this out of the case. It's not an unboxing, it's an unbagging, because it's in a gig bag. And any clues what it is from the headstock? Anyone care to guess? Yeah, so we can see it's a scarf joint, and we can tell from the top there that it's not a Gibson or an Epiphone. So let's have a look. It is a single cut with a pointy thing there. So what have we got here then? We've got one of these. A Harley Benton P90 gold top. Now if you're thinking, yeah, a Harley Benton P90 gold top, where have I heard that being spoken about on John's channel recently? Well, you might remember what I was talking about earlier, the Agrajag guitar raffle just before Christmas. And the main prize was, as you know, that Agrajag built guitar. And yes, it was, I that was one, and so was this guitar as one of the runner-up prizes. And a chap in Italy called Calogero won this guitar, and I know the guy. He's despite his name, he's he's a Londoner living in Italy of Italian descent. It might be obvious. And he won this guitar, and he got in touch with James at Agrajag and said, give the guitar to John, let him make some videos with it, and then guess where this is going? This is going back to Zoe's place. So people bought raffle tickets to win this guitar. Calogero won the guitar, and he's just basically donating the guitar back to Zoe's place. Agrajag donated this guitar to the raffle. This is one that they had in stock. So I'm going to get to make a couple of videos with this guitar, which I'm looking forward to doing, and then the nice lady Chloe from Zoe's place will be popping round to pick this up, along with maybe one or two other guitars that are going there, because I'm going to probably donate one or two of my own, because there are guitars in here that are just surplus to requirements these days. I don't play them, and I've had me fun with them, and they've made me a little bit of money on YouTube, so I'm just going to kind of thin the herd a little bit. I'm actually running out of room to put guitars in. So yeah, there's the guitar, the Harley Benton something or other. It'll be a Harley Benton SC something with P90s in it, and we're going to have a nice bit of fun playing this. Might try and do some. I'm not making any promises, but given that it's so close to like the original Les Paul with the gold top and the P90s, wouldn't it be fun to do something a little bit like, How High the Moon or something like that with those kind of Les Paul kind of recording tricks? I'm not making any promises, but I might just see if I can do something like that, just as a bit of a change from my usual 2.5 minute blues rock kind of verse chorus kind of things that I tend to do. Good beer. Anton, what are you saying? Can you let us know when Zoe's place auction or raffle the guitars? I do always ask them when I give them a guitar, can you ping me an email with the link to the auction? And it always seems to get lost in translation. So I will ask again this time, and I'll ask on behalf of, you chaps that, because you might want to bid on them, so yes, I always ask, and then, it just, I never seem to get any follow-up, and, they're busy people, I don't like to hassle them, so, Dr. Gomez is saying, you need to get a proper wall rack for your wall. You'll get 8 guitars on one rack. Yeah. I am, well, as you know, behind me, there's that sort of fold down couch bed thing there. Its days are numbered, basically. I could do with a little bit more floor space in here. And when we have guests, they're just going to have to sleep on a blow-up mattress. The thing is, though, it's not just that sofa that's behind us that I need to get rid of. A sofa is a very, very, very good place to store a load of junk underneath, and so it's not just the sofa I need to get rid of. It's all the junk underneath. So usually, what I do sometime in the summer when the kids are off, and the lesson side of things is at its slackest, I usually tend to take a week off from lessons and try and catch up with all of the daft little jobs around the house that I need to get done. So that will be something then, and then I'll have more floor space. So basically, it would be nice to have, because you can see all the guitars behind me on the wall there, but there's like others over there and there's others over there that you never get to see. And I just think it would be nice to have the whole herd as a backdrop. Wilson Jones is saying, have you heard that channel on here that does 50s jazz covers of classic rock, very high quality Zeppelin? I think I have, mate. I think I stumbled across one of those videos. I think it was, what did I hear? I think I heard like Good Times, Bad Times, as if it was done by a 60s jangly beat group, and it really worked. Michael Purcell is saying, a shootout with your other Harley Benton P90. Good shout, mate. Yes. That would be a good one. Always looking for, when I do the Sunday videos, when I've got like a guitar to review or a comparison to do or something like that, it's always right, okay, well, I've run out of new guitars to review. I've run out of comparisons to do, and it's sometimes a little bit of a head scratcher to think, yeah, what am I going to do this week? And occasionally, on a couple of occasions, I've just said, right, I've got nothing for you this week. I'm just going to have a jam. Here it is. Yes, I've got a pedal review coming up at some point as well. I've been very generously donated a rather nice chorus pedal by a certain gentleman in the chat, and I need to schedule that in as well at some point. So yeah, watch out for that one. Might try and work that in, as I said earlier, to the Rockman. Can you get a Rockman tone? Because chorus was a big part of that. Might try and work that in. I'm just kind of spitballing here and kind of thinking out loud. Phil says, thank you for the stream. And where are you, mate? Thanks for the stream. Have a great weekend. Well, same to you, mate. Same to you. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I've got a busy weekend. I'm going to be in here blethering away into a webcam doing guitar lessons and, kind of facing the other way and doing face-to-face guitar lessons as well, which are not as big a part of my sort of daily job as they used to be. Most of it is kind of staring down the barrel of a camera now. Peter Hall is saying, how about a video about boost pedals, John? I mean, I'm not ruling it out. It's just that I've done videos like that in the past comparing various kind of boosty kind of pedals. I don't like doing pedal videos is the long and the short of it. I will do them when there's a good reason to do one. But for logistical reasons, you've got to have a camera on the pedal, you've got to have a camera on me, and you've got to, you've got to record the audio from like various different streams, the audio from the mic, the audio from the pedal, and the video from the pedal and the video of me, and you got to kind of you got to sync all of that up. I mean, I know I'm obviously missing a trick here because John Cordy makes just light work of it, doesn't he? He just kind of I'm going to do this pedal today, and it seems like maybe it's just the way he makes it look easy, but he just seems to be able to do those videos very easily. I find them really, really, kind of difficult to do. Just as I say, getting the whole setup and everything. Maybe that's something I can look into. What else have we got? What are you saying, Johnny? There's a channel with a chap called Glenn Parrish. He did a video of a Strat, a Marshall head, and a speaker and a lead. Many tones just using your volume and tone controls. Thought of you. Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that, that's because, it's, I'm a purist and I just like to, use just the controls on the guitar and that's it. And the tone is in the fingers, man. The truth of it is I'm a technophobe and I don't like messing around with too many kind of variables and like, getting lost in, especially with, my nightmare would be something like, the Tonex pedal. Where you just anything where you've got to fire up an app on your phone or connect it to your computer and USB it and start scrolling through a million menus to try and find what you want is just, I will run a mile from that. Yes, this frame can actually run, especially when confronted with that kind of, that sort of options there. I just don't like doing that. So if I can possibly find a way to fill up a slot in the video schedule by not doing a pedal video and doing it on something else, then that's what I'll do, I'm afraid. Let's have a little bit of a look. Oh, Dave Snack Stevens, you lucky boy. 9 Below Zero and Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood are the ultimate Triggers Broom band, aren't they? They've never split up. They've just kept on going forever and a day since like the early 70s. But there's not a single original member still in the band. They've either left or Lee Brillo's dead, Wilco Johnson's dead, Chippy Mayo's no longer with us, I believe. So yes, but it's always just been a gradual evolution and revolving, which I think is, nobody thinks that's, at all unusual for a symphony orchestra. Nobody expects the lineup of the London Symphony Orchestra to be the same as it was 20 years ago. But the orchestra still exists, and it's just kind of a bit bizarre that we think of like a band as having, it's got to be those people, or it isn't the proper band. Let's have a look. So what else have I missed? Peter Nicholson saying Dougal is quiet. What you gave him? Nothing. It's he's had his good boy lugs on today. Actually, he's been very, very well behaved. Even when I took him out for a walk this afternoon. Normally, it's the comments that I get is look at that little dog taking that big man for a walk. But he's he even. Right, and I am a responsible dog owner. I clean up after me dog. He even dragged me over to the bin before he kind of squatted down and crimped one off. So I was right next to the bin, and he let me. He wasn't kind of pulling my arm out my socket as I'm trying to kind of tie the bag and deposit the resulting loveliness for the council to come and empty out of the bin. That's got to be the job. If you work for the council, that's got to be the job that you get if you've annoyed your boss, isn't it? It's like no, you're not tending to the flower beds this week, mate. You're off out emptying the poo bins. Anyway, chaps. 59 minutes or near as makes no difference into the stream. Don't forget Steve Cassidy straight after this stream here. Go and check his China guitar video out. I will be watching it later, and I'm going to go and have some more beers and have a curry and talk to the missus for the rest of the evening. So thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern bloke talk absolute bollocks for an hour. I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.